Welcome to Release to Results. It's the Course in Miracles series, lesson 113. We're reviewing the past 20 lessons, two at a time. Today, it's I am one self united with my Creator, and salvation comes from my one self. So, what the Course is saying is, you are that. You are here to do these beautiful things, these ideas that the Course is suggesting. You're lighting the world. You're bringing peace to all minds through your forgiveness. You're releasing all grievances and attack thoughts so that you can be what you really are, which is this energy of love, this child of God, son of God is the languaging they use. It doesn't matter if it's if you're a man or a woman. Notice your resistance to the concept. You're a son of God. Notice if there's any objecting these ideas. And the Course actually tells you that's okay. In the beginning of the Course in Miracles workbook, it says you might have resistance or refusal to these ideas. That's okay. Just put these ideas before you anyway. And where you're going to get the most benefits is taking these ideas from what we do here and then carrying them throughout the day. And if you have a lesson that's really working for you, just do that one again and again and again and again. You could do it 365 days, doing one lesson a day, or you could do every other lesson or do one lesson a week, or just sit with one. The idea is the power of the truth in these ideas, when you allow them and release your resistance to them, it's going to carry you through this experience in a beautiful way. It's a course in miracles. Are miracles happening through for you constantly? Are the miracles always there? Could you get out of the way and let the power that you are that shine in the world? And could you show people through your happiness and your reception and your allowance of God's love and power and care and the safety that's there for you? Could you show other people that that's possible for them? Could you be the savior of the world, the Son of God? Could you start causing some very powerful effects in the world through your allowing of a new frequency of energy, through letting go of what you aren't and being what you are? So let's release some resistance to these ideas. We'll start with I am one self united with my Creator. I am one self united with my Creator. Serenity and perfect peace are mine because I am one self, completely whole, at one with all creation and with God. I am one self united with my Creator. And could you allow up any resistance or rejection of being at one with God and all creation? If there seem to be any separation, is there any holding back, pushing away this idea? Can you notice what it feels like? And it's okay. It's okay. Without making right or wrong of what's coming up for you, could you simply allow any resistance? We're just calling it resistance, whatever this feeling is, to come up. And could you really resist being at one with all creation and with God, being one self united with your Creator? That runs it out. Just a feeling, just noticing anything you've been carrying. How does it feel? And could you be surrendering, letting it go? Could you let go of any resistance to being at one with God and all of creation? Would you let go of any energy that darkens the truth of your oneness with all? When could you let go and be at one self united with your Creator? I am one self united with my Creator. Serenity and perfect peace are mine because I am one self, completely whole, at one with all creation and with God. Now, that's a nice idea. Though, it's okay to be honest. Is there anything in your storage that says, no, I'm not at one with all that is? You notice any feeling that comes up for you, and it might start as a thought. Could you go behind the thoughts and notice the feeling, any resistance or rejection of being at one with all? How does that feel? Could you notice this energy? You might notice it in this body somewhere hanging out. Might be buzz, pain, discomfort. You just hang out with whatever's there. No need to describe it. Notice that feeling. Let it run. And without trying to change it or modify it, you feel what's coming up in resistance to being at one with all. And could you set that feeling free? Just make a choice to release it. Yes or no is fine. You don't have to. Would you set this energy free, this resistance to being at one with all? When could you release the resistance? Be one self united with your Creator. It's just a choice, and you are free. Why hasn't it happened? Why aren't you already consciously aware of incredible, perfect peace and serenity that's here for you, your wholeness, your oneness? Well, you're free to choose. Free to choose. I am one self united with my Creator. It's a great idea. Am I refusing it? Am I resisting it? Am I objecting, denying this perfect peace being one with all, one with God, one with all of creation? Is there any resistance to that? And that's okay. Just noticing how it feels to be fighting with one perfect peace, serenity, and wholeness. Could you open that up? Anything that's been stuck or dark or lingering, whatever that feels like, just bringing it to your light. Simply shine your awareness on anything that's coming up for you, what it feels like. The thoughts happen. Could you ignore the thoughts? Could you feel the energy? And Could you surrender this energy? Give it up. Give up fighting, being at one, self, united with all creation. Would you surrender? It's your choice. You're free. Would you surrender this feeling and experience what's being suggested? It's okay not to. When could you surrender any insistence on setting yourself apart from being at one with all creation and with God? And you might notice some of that energy shifting, some of it moving. Are you oneself united with your Creator? Perfect peace and serenity yours? And perhaps just allowing the possibility. Is that so bad to be having all the serenity and perfect peace? Could you allow that? Being completely whole, one self, one holy presence. You allow yourself to be at one with all creation and with God. It's okay if there's resistance to that. Salvation comes from my one self, whose knowledge still remains. Within my mind, I see God's perfect plan for my salvation perfectly fulfilled. Salvation comes from my one self. Can you notice, does it seem like that knowledge doesn't remain? That God's perfect plan isn't already perfectly fulfilled for you? Does salvation come from somewhere else other than yourself? And how does that feel? Can you notice any feeling that comes up, any resistance, objection to having your salvation here and now in yourself? And without judging or moralizing, there might be some thoughts, evaluations of what's coming up for you. Could you let those drift by and notice any feeling that's there for you? And touch you not, could you simply notice it, feel it? If it was you, you wouldn't even be aware of it because that's just you. Could you notice what's coming up? And could you let go? Would you let go of any resistance to your salvation being here in you? When could you go? and have your salvation perfectly fulfilled. God's perfect plan right here, right now. Salvation coming from your one self means everything you need right here. It's not out there. From your one self, total knowledge still remaining within your mind, aware of, seeing God's perfect plan. That's not somebody else's plan for salvation perfectly fulfilled. Your salvation perfectly fulfilled. Salvation comes from my one self. And you notice, does there remain any division of your one self? Any knowledge out there that you need to get to be okay, saved? Anything other than a perfect plan happening here within your mind? And it's okay. You can be honest. It is purely your free will to hold on to some ideas other than this that makes it so. Could you notice how it feels to be resisting, objecting, imagining being apart from your salvation? Total knowledge, a perfect plan, perfectly fulfilled. Could you let any lingering darkness come up to your light? How does that feel? You can feel it, it's not you. Could you open up, allow up any cloud of darkness, whatever this feeling is, wherever it's hanging out? And could you begin to release it? It's your free will. Would you release any imaginings that you are divided? When could you release any resistance to salvation coming from your one self? The perfect plan, perfectly fulfilled within your mind. Salvation comes from my one self. From my one self. Salvation comes from your one self. From your one self, whose knowledge still remains within your mind. You see God's perfect plan for your salvation perfectly fulfilled. Are you seeing the perfection of your salvation done? Can you notice any resistance, any imagination of anything other than that? This perfection, total knowledge of God's plan from your one self? And it's not to bring up judgment or stack guilt or wrongness on anything that you've been carrying or doing. It's just noticing what you've been carrying, choosing to hang on to in your free will. Could you allow yourself just to acknowledge how it feels? If there has been any dividing yourself from the perfect being, could you open up? Just let any of this energy shake up, stir up, starting to enlighten, notice, and feel and flow. Could you simply let this feeling flow? Could you surrender, give up the choice to carry what's not complete, perfect plan happening here, now, in yourself? Would you surrender? Just give up any resistance to your salvation here and now in yourself. Surrendering. Maybe it goes, maybe it stays. You're free. You let it run out or hang on to it. Just surrendering. When could you surrender any resistance to salvation coming from your one self? And could you just, is it possible to allow this idea, even just for a moment, that from your one self, whose knowledge still remains within your mind, you see God's perfect plan for your salvation perfectly fulfilled? Could you allow that to be aware of, to see, to know God's perfect plan, salvation as you? Could you open up and allow what happens for you when you just look at the idea salvation comes from my one self? How does that feel? Is it true? You can always ask a question. The answer is always there. Is this true? That my perfect knowledge still remains of this perfect plan within my mind? Everything I need to know here and now. My salvation perfectly fulfilled. Hmm. And just noticing how you have all the answers. You allow it. How salvation is right here and now in your one self. Could you allow it? Could you let be what you are and release what you're not? If you'd like to do more releasing, well done releasing, please join us at the link in the description where we do more of these sessions, 2 more of them every single day, where you can bring up any topics you'd like to release that aren't your one self, so you can have this experience of perfect fulfillment and salvation. Thanks so much for being here and for joining us, and have the best day you can.